Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to record a client educational Zoom call that I'm doing all about how to prioritize digestion while you are on vacation. I've had so many clients in the past couple of weeks go on vacation and chat about how they were backed up. They just felt bloated and gross during vacation and afterwards. So I want to talk about ways that you can prioritize your digestion while on vacation, especially being that there is a holiday weekend coming up and the summer months are upon us. As always, I want to say that any advice given in this is simply advice and may not be right for you, and it is important to determine what is going to work best for you. But these are just generalized tips that may help in prioritizing digestion. Also, another side note is vacations are meant to be fun. So reduce stress and try to limit constant worry about ultimately anything while you are there. The goal is to unwind and relax most of the time. But hopefully these tips help in terms of optimizing digestion while you are traveling. One other side note is I did start recording a little bit after I started the Zoom, so there may be a little bit lack of context as I start. So just know we kind of start off on the first slide. But let's get into it, and I hope that you enjoy. Digestion, it starts when you're just like looking at food. So you're like staring at a donut and you start salivating. Your digestion essentially starts there. Like your body starts the digestive process because it is producing more saliva, and saliva is what breaks down your food. So what happens is you take a bite of food, you're chewing it up into small pieces, and saliva is actually breaking it down for the body to use. What happens then is the food goes down your esophagus, which is in your neck, goes down into the stomach. The stomach is kind of like a storage unit. So it's going to hold that food, and enzymes within the stomach further break that food down. So like your stomach acids and that kind of thing. So we're here, it goes into the mouth, the salivary glands are producing the saliva to break down your food, goes into the esophagus, and then goes down into the stomach here. From there, once the stomach breaks down the food enough, it's going to enter the small intestine here. And so what happens is the liver is going to produce bile and enzymes from the pancreas here. So there's enzymes in the pancreas, and then the liver bile enters the stomach to be continuing to break the food down. Once the food, so essentially within the small intestine, here's what happens. So the duodenum is the top of the large intestine. So when things first enter, the duodenum is the first part of it. So the food's broken down in the duodenum, it enters the jejunum and the ileum. I'm not saying those words right. I know I'm not. Where nutrients are prepared to enter the bloodstream. We want nutrients in the bloodstream because that's how our body gets the energy from food. So that's how we produce energy. And then from there, so body, distributes the energy through our bloodstream, but any food that's left over that is not made into the nutrients for energy and for distribution into the body, for storage, all that fun stuff, it's then moved into the colon and processed into poop. So that's kind of what happens in the digestive system. That's just like a very small generalized breakdown. All right, so what things we can do to maintain and improve proper digestion. So proper digestion is technically like you're, having regular bowel movements. You don't have any abnormal bloating. So like bloating in general happens when you eat, like your stomach just distends throughout the day. But when your stomach is like constantly like hard when you press it, or you have an upset stomach, it's gurgly, or you have sharp pains, like that is not optimal digestion. And when we don't have optimal digestion, your body actually isn't able to utilize food for energy. So like I mentioned back here, how, the food is broken down in the small intestine and then it's prepared to go into the bloodstream. If we don't have proper digestion, sometimes that won't happen. So you could be eating plenty of fruits and veggies and that kind of thing, but if you're not digesting it properly, the body can take a toll. So some ways that we can optimize digestion. So water, staying hydrated, getting enough water. The recommended amount of water is about half your body weight in ounces. But I would say like a half gallon is a really great starting point. Like getting at least 64 ounces in is going to be a great start if you struggle with water. Fiber. Fiber is a very neglected thing, and I think it's not often talked about enough. Like we often just focus on macros, like hit your carbs, proteins, and fats, but You could hit your carbs and proteins and fats. You could hit your macros just by having, I use this example a lot. You could eat Pop-Tarts and protein shakes all day long and probably hit your macros, but you're probably going to feel like garbage. And so the on average recommended fiber amount, this does vary with gender and age, and also digestive systems in general. Like vegans and vegetarians typically can handle a little bit higher amounts of fiber because their protein sources carry a little bit more fiber. They typically are having higher amounts of carbs and fats, that kind of thing. But the recommended amount for optimal digestion typically ranges from about 20 to 35 grams, depending on the person, once again. One big thing, and this is something I've really worked on optimizing my digestion, and I've actually noticed a large difference. I've always been the fastest eater. Like, it is a race to finish my food. And my husband is the same way, which doesn't help. But I always get so much crap from my family. They're like, oh my gosh, you just literally rush to eat. So something I've been really focusing on is mindfulness in eating. Actually not preparing the next bite on my fork when I'm I'm such a person who's next bite's on my fork, I'm eating it, I'm chewing as fast as possible, but actually chewing your food. I've started actually counting how many times I chew and trying to focus on chewing at least 15 to 20 times with each bite, which is insane. And I think it's really weird to get used to at first, but taking the time to adequately chew food and break it down is a lot better for the digestive system when it's already broken down, entering the stomach. And just focusing on your eating. Again, something I do. I'm on my phone while I'm eating, or I'm working and eating. So just trying to sit and eat and just be still. Regular movement and exercise. Specifically moving after you eat. So just going on a short walk, even if it's 5 minutes of just walking around the house, can help with optimizing digestion. Adequate sleep, quality and quantity, super important. Managing stress. Stress the gut is kind of like a second brain. I don't know if you guys have heard that before, but second brain. So just managing sleep and stress can help optimize digestion as well, because your body has the energy to digest. If you're not adequately sleeping, the energy could be utilized for other things and digestion could take a back burner. A balanced diet. So that kind of goes into fiber, but just making sure you're having enough whole foods. Also, obviously still prioritizing the fun foods, but food quality does matter. Prebiotic and probiotics. So Greek yogurt is a great example for this. Getting in even, what's that? The probiotic drink. I can't even think of what it's called. Olipop is great. It's, more natural probiotics are gonna be great, but those things are great. Or supplementation. There's oftentimes more prebiotics in foods, even cultured foods, or why can't I think of the word, but pickled foods are great too. But even supplementation can help. Limiting alcohol consumption and avoiding smoking. Smoking can, smoking cigarettes can affect digestion. And then alcohol consumption definitely does too. It's bloating the next day, which is why water is important while drinking. But things that affect digestion negatively are digestive system diseases, which can't always be prevented. And there are obviously things that have to be taken into consideration in terms of diet, with IBS, GERD, diverticulosis, Crohn's disease, all of those things. Low or inconsistent fiber. This is something I touch on a lot in check-ins, because some days there's those tortilla wraps that are very common for a lot of people to have because they're labeled as low carb. There's also the extreme wellness ones, but those things are super high in fiber. So if one day you don't have that wrap, and maybe you slacked on fruits and veggies that day and you're at 9 grams, and then the next day you have that wrap and you also have fruits and veggies and you're at 45 grams of fiber, going from 9 to 45, your body is what the heck is going on? It's a lot to adapt to. So sticking consistent, you'll notice you have a range fiber goal typically, and that is roughly, usually ideally it's 20 to 30 grams or 25 to 35 grams. I am more for myself, and it's important to figure out what works best for you. I like doing 25 to 35 grams, but each person is going to be different in what their body can handle. A low water intake, and that is also a conjunction of water intake and fiber can really play a factor in digestion. Sedentary lifestyle, just sitting around all day can really slow the digestive process. Eating quickly and not taking the time to properly chew food. So just scarfing food down can be hard. Sometimes you have to in the moment if you're at work and you have a small window to eat, sometimes that just has to happen. But when you can, being mindful of eating as much as possible. Low sleep, chronically high stress, we kind of touched on those, excess alcohol consumption, smoking, also certain foods. So a big thing is artificial fiber, and these are in like those Built bars. Built bars are a great source of like, they have really great macros. They're also really great in protein content, but they do have inulin, and a lot of different protein bars have this. So if you ever notice that, and same with fiber supplements, I'll kind of lump these in. But if you ever notice like gas and bloating feeling, gurgly stomach with having a certain protein bar or a certain protein product, it's more than likely because of either the, this is supposed to say artificial sugar content. So like artificial sugars can disrupt digestion as well as the artificial fibers. So like inulin is a fiber that's added to food. And so that can definitely affect it. So trying to focus on more natural fiber sources, which is in the nutrition guide in the resource library. Fiber supplements also, because they are high in fiber. So if you're having that in addition to like dietary fiber, can throw digestion off. So the more like natural fiber sources we can get, berries, broccoli, leafy greens, chia seeds, flax seeds, popcorn, even oats, those kinds of things are going to be great for fiber. Now, digestion is a little bit of a different story on vacation. So specifically talking about vacation purposes, obviously on vacation, you know, for one, I don't want you to track macros. Like I want you to just enjoy your time and not focus on that. But a lot of times it is lower nutritional quality. Like when you're eating out, you don't have full control over what you're having. Obviously you can try to prioritize having a veggie, and I'll go over those kinds of things, but you're also having more alcohol consumption. Probably more than likely you're not as mindful about drinking water. That's why bringing a water bottle can be helpful, but like you're not as focused on it. You're like, I'm drinking a pina colada, I'm having a margarita, as you should, but it's obviously, you know, water can take a little bit of a back burner, as well as some lower movement. You're relaxing typically on vacation. I'm just saying that in general. Sometimes you are more active, but you know, some lower movement. But more so than that, like you could optimize eating, you know, really great while eating out. You could, you know, have maybe a couple of drinks a day, but not have a ton of alcohol. You could be totally active, and you could be drinking all the water in the world and digestion's still affected for whatever reason. You're like, what the heck? Your body is a creature of habit. It knows routine. You know, you hopefully go to bed around the same time, have fairly like reliable sleep patterns. It knows typically what time you eat. It catches up on eating patterns, and also an environment. Your body is very smart. It is used to its environment. It's used to going to work and coming back home, or going to the gym, or going to the store and coming back home, picking up your kids from school and coming back home. Like you're always returning back to a comfortable place. Even on vacation, when you are so like just super relaxed and enjoying your time, your body is still out of its natural routine and its natural environment. And it knows that. And that is considered a stressor. Vacation, as crazy as it sounds, just like exercise, just like an exciting new job, it is still a stressor. It is eustress, which is good stress, but it's stress nonetheless. So keeping that in mind of why digestion may be altered, why you can't poop for the first couple of days of vacation. And it's very, very normal. And sometimes it is not preventable. Like it's just your body is uncomfortable in its environment. But there are ways to optimize this. So the first being prioritizing fluids, especially if you are on a plane. Air that circulates throughout the plane actually dehydrates you. So flying in the air dehydrates you. Bring a water bottle with you. I live and die by my hydro jug. I bring the carrier with it as well, because it does keep water cool. So bringing a water bottle can be super helpful for you, or like getting a water on the plane as an extra piece can help. If you are going to a country such as Mexico, I think about that often. I feel like a lot of people in, you know, America, Canada, we travel to Mexico pretty easily if we're going out of the country. And the water isn't necessarily safe for consumption there because we aren't used to it. So what we typically do is buy a gallon, or like they have huge 5-gallon jugs at the store, and that's how we refill our water bottles on vacation. Also ordering like water if you are in a place like in the US or somewhere where the water consumption is safe, even if you order a glass of wine or a margarita at dinner, like order a glass of water. And after every drink, just make sure you're having water after, because alcohol also further dehydrates you. And dehydration can affect digestion. As we mentioned, being hydrated is important. Or ordering a bottle of water at restaurants as well. The next one is to be prioritizing fresh fruits and veggies. Now, I don't want to be a stickler. Obviously, if you're going to a different place, a new place, most of all, like, I'm a foodie. I want you to enjoy the local food. I want you to enjoy the delicious culinary experience. It's like an experience being on vacation, getting to order new foods, which is why I hate going to all-inclusive resorts, because you don't get to have the local foods. So just being able to enjoy the local foods, but at the same time, still prioritizing fresh fruits and veggies where you can. If you are going to a place where there's a store nearby, being able to pick up some fresh berries, like especially berries, because those are the highest fruits in fiber content. So that can help for sure. And just fruits and veggies in general. It also helps your body feel a little bit more normal eating some familiar foods. So enjoy all the fun foods 1000%. I would never tell somebody to track on vacation or to like make sure you're eating fruits and veggies at every meal, but at least make sure you are having some. It can be hard to in some areas. Maybe you're in a food desert where there's just naturally not a lot of fruit and veggies. So just doing what you can in that sense. Even bringing, like, if you are able to, bringing apples if you're not going across the country or out of the country. Like if you're just traveling in the States, bringing apples are great. That's a high fiber fruit. Can at least help if you do go somewhere where that may not be readily available fruits and veggies. Staying active. Now, I say this loosely. I do not want anyone to ever feel like they have to go on vacation and absolutely have to work out. I do like exercising on vacation, but that's because it's part of my routine and it's something I just genuinely enjoy. I'm not doing it to beat myself up for drinking more alcohol or eating out a ton. I'm doing it because it's genuinely part of a routine and it's something I like doing, but that doesn't mean you have to do it on vacation. You don't have to do super long workouts. You don't have to do normal workouts. It's okay to just go for a walk in the morning, get sunlight on your eyes, enjoy a new area, go walk to a coffee shop, grab a coffee and enjoy a local coffee, that kind of thing. If you're in a safe place, walk to dinner, walk into town, walk around town, like go and explore and just like walk as much as you can to keep digestion moving. Now, I don't want this to feel forced ever. This is solely for the purpose of saying if you need to optimize digestion and get things moving, movement can help a little bit. So never feel like you're forcing yourself to do it. A vacation should be what it makes it enjoyable for you most of all. But if we're specifically talking digestion, activity does help. And then also mindfully eating. So again, like I've mentioned, and I will literally say this until my face turns blue, enjoy the local foods as much as possible. If you're going to Hawaii, get all of the poke, get all of the Kahlua pork, all of the chicken katsu, like enjoy those things. If you're going to Italy, eat all the dang pasta. Enjoy the local food because you don't always get them. But there are things you can do to mindfully eat those foods. Eat slowly, fully chew and savor each bite, even more so with local foods. Like chew and like enjoy all the flavor profiles you're getting and like enjoy each and every bite, savor each bite and limit overeating, which eating slowly can help. It's okay if you hopefully you have a fridge in your hotel room or wherever you're staying, your Airbnb, where you can take that food home and enjoy it the next day. It's okay if you want to eat the whole thing. Hey, I'm an eater. I barely ever take leftovers, but at least eating slowly to optimize digestion, as we talked about. And then limiting stress. Now, obviously, stress would be fairly low on vacation, but I do know that there are certain random stressors that come up. I am a plan maker on vacation. As much as I want to fully enjoy vacation, I also want to know what in the world I'm doing each day, which is probably a flaw, but that's just me. I'm not a go with the flow type of person on vacation. Like I need to know what's happening. And so maybe you're trying to not stress about plan making, not stressing about body image, like constantly thinking about, how you're looking, constantly checking yourself in the mirror as you're going out. Like just try to be present, because the stress of how you look and the stress of the plans and the stress of everything going on, while vacation is less stressful, it also is going to add more to your plate than needs to be. I don't know why I said prioritize high sleep, but that's the word I chose. Prioritize quality sleep, good sleep, sleep in, don't set an alarm, that kind of thing. I mean, obviously like a sleep wake cycle is important, but maybe you're just allowing yourself to fully enjoy sleeping. Go to bed when you're ready, wake up when your body is ready, and actually enjoy that natural sleep cycle that your body may have that don't always get the luxury of having back at home. Before I move on, I don't always recommend fiber supplements. And like I mentioned, they can mess with digestion. But specifically for the topic of going on vacation, a fiber supplement can be helpful. Like I mentioned back here, if we're trying to prioritize fruits and vegetables, it's not always available. Like there's not always readily available fresh fruits and veggies. Maybe you're not going to a place that provides that, like in terms of like for dinner. So a fiber supplement can help in this case. And what you can do is kind of assess your tolerance. So start with like a half serving, like the week before you leave, every other day, and just see how your body feels. Maybe you're starting with a half serving and then a day later do another half serving, and then 2 days later, try a full serving and see how it feels. So like assess your tolerance first. So that would be like the sixth thing in terms of what to do on vacation. Like it's always good to have as a backup plan, but don't always like rely on it. And then what to do after vacation. So just get back to normal routine. Please don't do a juice cleanse or extra cardio or fasting or any crazy thing like that. Your body does not need that. If anything, it's just adding more stress to your body, and also like eating fully freely on vacation and then doing a juice cleanse where you're really restricting calories and then going back to normal eating, your body is going to be all out of whack, and it's probably going to throw digestion off even more so than it could have been in before vacation or during vacation. So just get back to the same old routine. Your body will adapt back to being in routine and all will be well. Just give it time and your body will adapt back to normal. So that is all I have. Thank you for coming, and see you on the next one.